Thank you for joining Laurie Sports Rhetoric. I'll be your host today, Daimon, and today I'm going to continue my series on what to watch for in 2022 as it relates to college football. If you've been watching these videos, you know that I'm a huge college football fan. Even though I'm wearing my Bears shirt today, I love Florida State. Typically, I usually have my Florida State stuff on when I'm doing these videos, but today I had the Bears shirt on. And, outside of Florida State, I just love football altogether. I love watching football, all kinds of teams. I also play college fantasy football, so I watch a lot of players that are off the beaten path. A lot of the smaller schools, players like that. I also find those games fun to watch because you can kind of spot the guys that stand out easier, and it really kind of gets you information about who's going to be interesting in the for the NFL draft, because a lot of times you see guys there and then just get a feel for them in those smaller conferences. So today's video is going to be about one of the smaller conferences, Conference USA. Over the years, Conference USA has had some really interesting players and teams, but I feel like they had a couple of teams leave for the Sun Belt, and I feel like the league's kind of in transition, and this is maybe a down year for the league. Looking through just what I'm interested in to start the season, and maybe this will change as the year goes on. Maybe some guys will emerge, but as far as just like heading into the season, this conference actually didn't have a lot that interests me. So I'll talk about the few teams that did, but to be honest, the majority of the conference I wasn't all that interested in this year. So the ones that did interest me, first off, we're going to talk about Western Kentucky. Last year their offense lit the world on fire. I think Western Kentucky is an interesting team in general. They always have, it seems like they always have interesting teams, good teams, and coaches that do well and then move on. So last year's offensive coordinator moved on. They have a new offensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to see if they can still have that, high level of offense that they had last year. They also lost the quarterback to the NFL draft, a bunch of wide receivers. So I don't know. I'm curious to see, does that offense continue to play well? What offensive players emerge, because they didn't really have a whole lot coming back from last year's team. And I do know they have a transfer from West Virginia, Daggy. I think you say his name is Daggy. He's kind of a disappointment at West Virginia. I thought he was going to play better at West Virginia than he did. So it's be interesting to see what he does, going from the Big 12 to the Conference USA, and does that system continue to play well? So I'm very curious about that. I think UTSA is the next team to really think about in that conference. They've been really good lately, and I feel like they have a good coaching staff, and they have a dynamic offensive pairing between the quarterback Harris and the wide receiving core. They had three really good wide receivers led by Franklin, who was a big play threat. I actually had both Harris and Franklin on my fantasy team. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I've had them on my team, so I've watched them quite a lot. I think it was last year. And they are fun to watch. It's a fun team to watch. Those are fun players to watch. So I will definitely, I might end up drafting them again this year. But if I don't, I will still tune into that UTSA. I feel like that's a program on the rise. They're fun to watch. And that defense, it seems like every year they have at least one guy that goes to the NFL from that defense, or a couple guys. So that's a good team to watch if you're an NFL fan and you're looking for potential, fourth, fifth round picks that could turn into stars. That defense produces them. So I think that's an interesting team. Another one, Louisiana Tech. This is a team, like Skip Holtz has been there for a long time, but prior to Skip Holtz, they were similar to what I just talked about with Western Kentucky, where it was like, coaches go there, they do well, and then they move on. So I think they're a fun program. They got a lot of good athletes, and they brought in Sonny Cumbie, who's, if you're not familiar with him, he's one of the originators of that air raid offense that Mike Leach made famous at Texas Tech, and now there's a ton of air raid all over the place. So he's one of the first people that did that. So any team that runs the air raid is fun to watch on offense. They might not be a great team overall, but they're always fun to watch on offense. At least for me, I love watching a quarterback check the ball all over the field. It's always fun. So for them, they're getting a new quarterback. They have a couple of transfers that came in. They had I think his name is Downing from TCU, and then a kid that transferred in from Texas Tech. I don't remember his name. So both of those teams were air raid style teams. At one point, those players were recruited to play in those systems. I think that's part of why they transferred away from the teams that they were on. You know, they didn't really succeed. A couple of those, and I think both of those teams kind of went to more of a hybrid than the pure air raid after these kids had gotten there. So getting back in the air raid offense should be good for whoever wins that job between those two. And then the wide receiving core is interesting. They have a couple of good players, but it's the number one guy, Smoke Harris. I love Smoke Harris. He's a lot of fun to watch. Just a big play waiting to happen, and I expect that he should be able to make some big plays in this offense. So he'll be fun to watch. The last team I was looking at, UAB. This is the last team in the whole conference. I know it's like a lot less than the other conferences I did, but I don't know. I'm not that interested. UAB, I think, has an interesting defense. They typically have been good on defense, and they put some guys in the NFL lately. So I'm curious to see if that defense has some guys that I should keep an eye on for the draft. And then they're led by a good running back, McBride. He was really good last year. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does this year. So I'll definitely pay attention to them. But really, that's it. The rest of the league, you know, there's a lot of teams still in the league I didn't talk about. Middle Tennessee State's been good over the years, but I don't really have high expectations for them this year. North Texas has been good over the years, but I'm not sure that I have high expectations for them this year. You know, those teams, if I'm wrong, if they come out the gate hot, then I might start tuning into them. But for now, I just don't anticipate it. And then most of the rest of the teams in the league, I just don't see it. I'm not seeing it right now. So anyway, yeah, I mean, this is going to be probably the shortest of these conferences that I do. But, you know, I don't know. Might not have got too much out of this video, but please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Check out some of the other videos. They were better. And if you're a Conference USA football fan, tell me where I'm wrong, because I would love to find more people to watch in the Conference USA group this year than these teams. I do think these teams will be fun to watch, but I wouldn't mind having some more to watch. I'm just not seeing them right now with some of the teams that left the league. So if I'm wrong about somebody and you think that they're good, let me know in the comments. If not, you know, I'm sorry. I didn't like your teams. So a little short video today, but we'll get some more conferences coming here soon. And hope you enjoyed it, even though it was short. So, you know, what they say, sometimes short and sweet. So that's what this one was today. Anyway, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.